Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Kevin O'Leary takes down this know-nothing reporter who isn't just asking bad questions. This dude explains exactly what's going on with the world economy today. Let's dive in.
I want to start on these tariffs. The market is on track right now for its worst weekly performance since March of 2020. How do you continue to be an advocate for these tariffs, given the sell-off we're seeing, given that I have had every source on our show this morning say that these tariffs will be causing a recession in the United States?
They don't know that yet. They don't know how long the tariff's going to be on. We've never done this before. We've never taken on the entire globe. Usually it's done in trade agreements with specific countries, such as NAFTA, which was Canada and Mexico, or a European Union situation. This is unique, over 60 countries. Now, there's two aspects to these tariffs. Number one is reciprocality against tariffs from one country to another based on products and services that are specific. So if you're charging a 20% tariff in India, it's going to be reciprocated in the United States. And those go away pretty quickly. That actually leads to fair trade. The more complex aspect of these negotiations are around the idea of trade imbalances. And so when you put on tariffs to try and fix trade imbalance, it's difficult because the largest economy on earth is the United States. So really you're starting a behemoth negotiation, and it's happening in every country. You highlighted Canada, but you might as well talk about Britain or even Switzerland, where I am right now, where they have over 30% tariffs imposed 48 hours ago. And so you can assume that behind the scenes are two spheres of negotiations. One is, let's try and reduce the imbalance of trade by buying more stuff from the United States. That's one signal. And the other, which is very easy to fix, is simply remove all tariffs. If you're going to have reciprocal tariffs at 20%, 30%, 40%, just get rid of them, bring them down to zero.
But Kevin, as of this morning, with the 34% retaliatory tariff from China to the United States, we are not getting closer to free trade. We are just getting further into a trade war.
No, China's a whole different story. This isn't about trade war with China. This is about leveling the playing field on a wide range of issues, including IP law, access to business, access to courts, being compliant with U.S. regulations on securities. There is a laundry list of grievances with China that have been around since they joined the WTO. And none of the administrations previously have ever dealt with China.
So why are tariffs the right way?
Dealt with for the first time. So this has nothing to do with just tariffs. I mean, right now I can't litigate.
But that's the tool that the administration is using. Why are tariffs the correct tool if, to your point, these have nothing to do with tariffs?
What tool do you suggest they do when nothing else has worked?
I'm not the president. It's not my job.
Well, exactly. So let him do his work. China's different than all the other countries.
But it's not
China
working,
has to be dealt with. Look, I'm having lots of problems with China, as are millions of other companies in the United States that try to do business there. They do not play by the rules. They're going to have to start doing it pretty soon. That's a different conversation. You want to talk about the markets correcting? Yes, they are. By the way, markets correct every 18 months up to 20%. You're watching it happen right now. It's not pleasant. You can't blame just the tariffs for this. These have been very expensive markets now for almost 18 months. Now they're having a correction. I think what matters is this a recession signal, yes or no? And how long will these tariffs be on? I would say 50% of these tariffs across these 60 countries will be negotiated pretty quickly, including the Canadian situation you made details on. Canada's different because they're in the middle of an election. Carney's not an elected official. He has no mandate from the Canadian people. He's just an interim prime minister when they threw out Justin Trudeau a few weeks ago. He's got to get elected first, so he's going to say anything he possibly can to try and distract Canadian voters from the fact that his party bankrupt the country. 25% of Canadians live in poverty. They have had no GDP growth for 10 years. There's no investment capital in Canada anymore, and the dollar's lost 41% of its value. Canadians can't go to the United States because they can't afford it under Carney's leadership in his party. So those are different issues too. There's a lot of things going on at the same time.
China right now is in borderline turmoil for the first time since Mao took it over back in 1949. There's a huge problem going on over there, and it's not just the fact that they've got an aging population, just like, Japan, South Korea, and arguably the United States, but at least we don't have the problems that they do over there, where on one hand they can build an entire city in a matter of months and then have no people to actually populate that city. Here in the United States, we can't even fill a pothole, but again, that's the difference between governmenting styles. I'm going to take the capitalistic one over the communist one nearly every single day of the week. And so when it comes to the markets, and we've been seeing volatility, but we need to talk briefly about this journalist. Good grief. That smug look on her face the moment that Kevin O'Leary asked the simple question, well, ma'am, what exactly would you do? We can't tax other countries. We can't go to the UN and say, hey, everyone's been playing unfairly with world trade. There's no other way other than either tariffs or military action, which, by the way, we don't need any more of. And then this journalist has to say, well, I'm not the president. Why don't you just educate me more? Ma'am, your one job is to quite literally give information to the public. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this nonsense. I can't. The amount of smug arrogance to say that, oh, well, you need to do my job for me. No wonder Kevin O'Leary has been going more and more Republican ever since New York decided to find Donald Trump as a felon because Mar-a-Lago was not quoted properly as value. That whole precedent destroys the whole point and purpose of market value of real estate. Kevin O'Leary has been screaming about these problems, and no one wants to listen to him properly. Tariffs are pretty much the only way we can get a level playing field, and the stock market, let's be honest, folks. Honestly, let me know in the comments if you actually own stocks. Most of us don't, alright? That's the sad truth about millennials and Gen Z. We don't have enough money to own stocks. We can't even afford housing. And we're out here and we're now expected to fall in line, and that mainstream media is going to be telling us the truth about the tariffs? Give me a break. If you want to know truth about the economy, here's something that's beyond interesting. The U.S. 10-year bond yield fell in the immediate aftermath of Trump's April 2nd tariff announcement, but in the days since, the yield has soared nearly 4.5% and has become the talk of Wall Street. Such dramatic moves in the U.S. government bonds are unusual since they are usually seen as a safe haven investment. Y'all, I've been looking at this story all morning. I've been trying to go to other sites that actually have this information, and the truth about the matter is, if people are buying U.S. bonds, that means that they're actually realizing that the yield needs to increase. You need to buy more of these bonds in order to make more profit. That's partially due to the fact that once Donald Trump got into office, he immediately started cutting needless government waste under the Department of Government Efficiency, or better known as the meme name Doge. Okay? So these people understand that there's going to be less value in buying these bonds, and so now you have an opportunity, with these tariffs have been announced, to buy more of these stocks. So if you want to buy U.S. debt, you're actually going to be getting a better rate, and people are going to want to buy more of this rate in order to achieve more profit value. That's actually a good thing. Okay, and we're out in every single headline that I've seen about this has been screaming, running around like a chicken with its head cut off. This isn't Foghorn Leghorn with Looney Tunes with Warner Brothers. This is real life. That's where our economy is shifting. The rest of the world is starting to come to the table and realizing that, we might need to renegotiate some deals with the United States. That's the best case scenario so far. The worst case scenario is we start buying more local, we start investing in more jobs here at home, we start getting people that actually realize, hey, I need to get off my butt and actually make some money. Okay? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And the mainstream media is running around like a chicken with its head cut off because these rich white liberals who are smart enough to own stocks are smart enough to, not smart enough, privileged enough. I'm going to use their terms here. They're privileged enough to actually own this property. They're actually able to own these stocks. They don't know what to do because they've been handed everything to them on a silver platter, and now they're screaming because something has slightly changed in the world market? Give me a break. No wonder Kevin O'Leary is trying to be as nice as possible here to this... I hate using the word journalist because this woman clearly does not have the information. She does not have the capacity to tell the American people or the public or the world entirely on Yahoo News because she doesn't know. Alright? She doesn't know. That's the cool thing about YouTube. That's the cool thing about Twitter. That's the cool thing about the new modern internet age. We don't have to go to these nonsense outlets who will continue to think that they continue to feed you the slop that they know what's going on. No, they don't. They don't. That's the sad truth about this whole situation. Scott Bessent actually knows what's going on. Donald Trump knows what he's doing. Yahoo Finance, on the other hand, well, bless your hearts. I'm shocked that you're still in existence, but more power to you. But y'all, let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.